Okay, so last class we stopped where we had seen all the reactions for metals and non-metals. So now, see, the chapter has got three segments. If I tell you, first is physical properties of metals and non-metals. Then we start with what is called chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Then we will talk little bit about how metals and non-metals react. That is the discussion on this, because this chapter has been trimmed a lot, okay, from what it was. So that how metals and non-metals react will be more or less a revision of grade 9, and you also get to understand about ionic bond and properties of ionic compounds. Followed by we will see some formation of some ionic compounds, some electron dot structure, and then extraction of metals. तो आज हम extraction तक खत्म करने की कोशिश करेंगे, शायद हो भी जाएगा, ठीक है. So our next section is all about, this is all repetition of grade 9. So if you don't understand anything, do let me know. So our next section speaks about, my screen is shared, right? How metals and non-metals react. Non-metals react. ये पूरे को एक कहानी की तरह सुनते हैं. Let's try and understand it like a story. Many of you are aware of it also. Okay. So if I look around the periodic table, it's okay. I have a group 1 and then I have a group 2, right? After that we have the transition elements, which is not in our perspective right now. Then we have the group 13, then we have group 14, then 15, then 16 and then 17 और 18 में जाके फिर ये बड़ा हो जाएगा क्योंकि हाइड्रोजन एंड हीलियम दोनों रहते हैं, ठीक है. So as students of grade say 9 and 10, all you should be aware of is, like, we have a period 1. Our period 1 is something like this. This is period 1, and then we have period 2. So let's say period 2 is here, period 2, and हम लोग थोड़े से पीरियड 3 को देखते हैं यहाँ पे एंड यहाँ पे, इतना तक हम देखते हैं, ठीक है. नाउ यहाँ पे थोड़ा अटेंशन देते हैं. लेट्स सी, लेट्स फर्स्ट नेम द पीरियड्स. दिस इज, सॉरी, द ग्रुप्स. दिस इज ग्रुप 1, ग्रुप 2. आफ्टर दैट कम्स 13. दिस इज डी ब्लॉक. This all you will study in grade 12, D block. And D block actually have the metals which we consider as metals, means the ones which have all the properties of hardness, shine, luster. Okay, these are all transition metals, yeah. Then we have got 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. यहाँ पे हमारे पास हाइड्रोजन है. Some periodic tables do mention hydrogen here, some do not mention, because position of hydrogen is not clear. Hydrogen, and I'm writing these with helium, neon, argon. हमारे लिए इतना ही आ रहा है. Krypton, xenon, radon is also there. You've got krypton, xenon, and then radon also. And the other elements of our interest are hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, then fluorine. After that comes sodium. यहाँ पे आएगा potassium, magnesium, and we'll have calcium, and below boron we'll have aluminium, below carbon we'll have silicon, below nitrogen phosphorus, below oxygen sulfur, below fluorine chlorine, ठीक है ये. And at when you reach this particular element, that is calcium, the atomic number becomes 20. This is the atomic number 20. ये 20 आपको जानना आना चाहिए, ठीक है. Now keep telling me some things. If you do not know, I'll explain. बच्चा, do you understand what is meant by valence electron? Valence electron आप समझते हैं? Do you understand? Valence electron कैसा रहता है? First we will have the nucleus. After the nucleus we have the shells, right? We have the shells. एक shell, दो, तीन. So the shells used to be K, L, M, so on. Okay. So whatever is the last shell, जब कोई last shell आ जाता है, say suppose M is on my last shell, तो last shell का दूसरा नाम क्या हो जाता है? Valence shell. Okay, and the electrons that are present in the valence shell will be known as valence electron. इतना समझ में आया आपको, right? The whole story of reactivity is on valence electron, because whenever a bond formation or a reaction takes place, these valence electrons are going to take part in the chemical reaction, right? If you imagine, when there is a war with your country, it's the border army and the border security force who are involved. The police station doesn't go and fight a battle out at the border. So what we call them is that we call them valence electron, and all the electrons that are inside, यहाँ जितने भी electrons रहते हैं इन्हें हम usually नाम में कहते हैं bonded electrons. Okay, these are bonded electrons. These do not participate in reaction. So for our discussion, these become very what you call important for our discussion. Now when we talk about valence electrons, I'll be going a little bit fast because ये सब grade 9 में हम पढ़ चुके हैं. We are interested on the electronic configuration or the count of valence electron for these inert gases. Okay, or these inert gases. And here the rule is very simple. If you are a single shell, in that case helium is the only one. Helium जो है ये single shell है, then you have two valence electrons और इसको हम duplet बोलते हैं. And if you have greater than one shell, that means it starts from neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon, then you have 8 valence electrons, and this is known as an octet. अब ये दोनों चीज को ध्यान दीजिए, one is a duplet, one is an octet. ये duplet और octet क्या होता है? This is the measure or the criteria, this is the criteria for stability. This is the criteria for stability, because we know that all these inert gases, जो हमारे inert gases है ना, these inert gases are all stable. These are all stable. And why are they stable? Because they have an valence shell which is either having a duplet configuration if they are a single shell atom, and that's only helium. Otherwise they have a octet combination for their valence shell. Is this much clear or not? Right. So all the balance atoms, when we say all the balance atoms, means all the balance elements, they race for this criteria, they strive for it, means they all want to have what you call 8 electrons, right? So our condition now comes is we should first understand कि ये जो already हमारे पास blue color में elements है, what are the number of electrons or valence electrons do they have, then only we'll understand what is their stability criteria. तो उसके लिए भी एक formula है that the valence electron, if you are from group 1 and group 2, the count of valence electron, n valence electron means the count of valence electron is always equal to the group number. बड़ा easy हो गया, group number. इसका मतलब क्या है? Hydrogen has 1 valence electron, then lithium has 1 valence electron, sodium has 1 valence electron, and potassium has 1 valence electron. बोलो बच्चा, ये चीज समझ में आया? Okay, whatever would be your group number will be actually the count of valence electrons that you have. That's for group 1 and group 2. So we also go for beryllium, which is in group 2, and then we have magnesium and we have calcium. All these have got how many? 2 valence electrons. इतना clear हुआ कि नहीं बोलो? Are you fine with this much? Any doubt out here? Okay, fine. Right. Now we come to the next, that is the count of, now this was one rule, the count of valence electrons from group 13 to group 18, is given by the formula that it is group number minus 10. This is the formula, group number minus 10. ठीक है? तो आओ देखते हैं. We have got group 13, then we have got group 14, group 15, group 16, group 17, group 18. Now let's see the valence electron. 13 का कितना हो जाएगा? 13 का हो जाएगा 13 minus 10, which will be equal to 3 valence electron, right? 14 का हो जाएगा 14 minus 10, 4 valence electron, 5 valence electron, 6 valence electron, 7 valence electron, and this is our Raja beta who has got 8 valence electron. ठीक है? अब जरा आराम से देखो. This particular group, we have no tension because this is the inert gas, because they are satisfying the criteria of octet. इन्होंने तो भाई साहब, इन्होंने तो octet को satisfy कर दिया, but the others are all falling short of electrons, right? So if we see the shortfall, right? Let's see the shortfall now. We see the shortfall. So if you see group 1, the group 1s are, the shortfall is for 7 electrons. In group 2, the shortfall is for 6 electrons, Group 3, the shortfall is for 5 electrons. Here the shortfall is for 4 electrons, 3 electrons, 2 electrons, and 1 electron. Have you understood now? Right. Now the question arises that everyone has a mad rush for getting stability. So if I look at group 1 needs 7 electrons. So the rule is very simple. If if someone needs electron, it implies that there has to be someone who will donate electron तो बाजार में नहीं मिलेगा ना. This is like share market. If you want to sell your share, there has to be a person who wants to buy your share, otherwise the transaction will not take place. If somebody needs electron, then there has to be someone who is going to donate electron. ये जो need electron होता है ना, इसको हम कहते हैं acceptor atom. This is an acceptor, और ये जो काम करेगा इसे हम कहेंगे donor. अब कुछ rules आ जाते हैं हमारे पास. The rules are that if somebody is donating electron, the maximum that somebody can donate is 3 electrons. इससे ज़्यादा donate नहीं कर सकते. Nobody is going to donate 3 electrons. So if somebody can maximum donate electrons, the maximum that somebody can accept will also be 3 electrons. Did you understand this mathematics? Because a acceptor gets the electron from a donor. Donor सबसे ज़्यादा 3 देगा, तो acceptor को भी 3 ही मिलेगा. यानी समझ में आ रहा है आपको? अच्छा, एक और रास्ता होता है जो थोड़ा सा अलग से देखेंगे, उसको हम कहते हैं शेयरिंग. शेयरिंग में कैसा चाहिए? शेयरिंग में if you look at sharing, it's a very dicey situation. Sharing will be amongst 2 acceptors. Try and understand. 2 acceptors, both of you want electron, that's why you are sharing, and both of you should also be donors. है कि नहीं? Sharing cannot happen between 2 parties in which one is 100% donor and one is 100% acceptor. Jara socho, I don't like sketch pens, so I am ready to donate sketch pens. Fine, but Sanvi also does not like sketch pens, तो वो लेगी नहीं ना. So it has to be that I want sketch pen, Sanvi wants sketch pen. She does not have red color, I do not have pink color. So she can share the red with me, I can share the pink with her. अभी समझ में आ रहा है? So in donors, the maximum that can be donated, maximum electrons, here the count is 4. Right. But we'll now keep our eyes on, in this particular chapter and in this particular syllabus of grade 10, we will be only talking about acceptor and donors. So our eyes will be fed on max 3 and max 3 out here. Now comes the story of all these group 1. ठीक है ना? इनको हम उठा लेते हैं, all these group 1s. Let me clone them. Okay, all these group 1s, if I pick them up, look, this is group 1. Then I am picking up my group 2s. Group 2s have, sorry, I'm picking up my group 2, right? So hang on children, this is my group 2, and I will also pick up group 13. So let's me pick up group 13 also. 14 के बारे में अभी बात नहीं करेंगे हम, ठीक है? Because 14s are neither metals nor non-metals. Okay, आ जाओ. Group 13. This is my group 13. Before going to group 13 out here, let me write some more things that though your syllabus does not tell about it, but if you know it, it's better. यहाँ से लेके group 13 तक जो है ना, इसको हम metals बोलते हैं. We call them as metals. 14 को छोड़ दो आप. Okay, 14 is actually metalloid में आ जाता है. And from 15 to 17 out here, this is also, so these we call as non-metals. Okay, these are my non-metals. If you ask about carbon, yes, carbon भी non-metal है, इनको metalloids बोलते हैं, ना metal ना non-metal. Now let's see. Now see, this fellow, if you look at group 1, they are all short by 7 electrons. How much is their shortfall? Their shortfall is 7 electrons. But the maximum gain is only 3 electrons. That means they cannot get into octet by just gaining 3 electrons. आपको समझ में आ रहा है? They need 7 electrons. So their maximum gain can be only 3. So the reason is, so the rule is that finally we will say that they cannot gain electrons, but they want stability. So what is the alternate out there? Let's look at something called, somebody called lithium. So let's look at lithium. This is the nucleus of lithium, this is the first shell of lithium, and this is the second shell of lithium, right? And let's see how many electrons they have. Lithium on the first shell has got 2 electrons, and on the third shell has got 3 electrons. Now it needs 7 electrons. It's not going to get 7 electrons because the maximum someone can get is only 3. So what lithium does is that ये वाला जो इलेक्ट्रॉन है ना, ये इलेक्ट्रॉन को लिथियम लूज करेगा. It will lose this electron. Once it loses this electron, okay, see what happens once lithium loses this electron. Okay, let me clone this. So once it loses this electron, the thing that happens is ये चला गया, ये इलेक्ट्रॉन चला गया और ये शेल चला गया. अब जरा देखो तो, now lithium has become what is known as single shell, and as a single shell the stability is given by duplet, and yes, it has a duplet. Now it has basically become analogous to the electronic configuration of helium, helium's electronic configuration. Is this clear? But in this whole case, lithium had how many positive charge beta? It had 3 positive charge. And how many negative charges? 3 negative charge. Now how many positive charge? 3 positive charge. How many negative charge? 2 negative charge. So as such, this is no more lithium atom. This is known as lithium ion, और इसके पास overall एक plus charge आ जाता है. So this we write as Li plus. So if you want to understand it in the reaction format, then it became Li plus losing 1 electron. So you have lost. So this is known as a cation, and to be written as in this manner so that you don't forget that cation is always the positive ion. Have you understood this? Okay. Now group 1, every one of them is going to behave in the same manner. So we will have hydrogen, we will not consider. Okay, hydrogen is not considered a group 1. So lithium becomes Li plus, sodium becomes Na plus, because sodium was 281 and after becoming Na it became 28. So it has just taken the electronic configuration of neon. Then potassium was 2881, potassium became 288. So this is K, hang on, so this became K plus and it became 288. So if you look at this, this is the structure of helium, this is the structure of neon, and this is the structure of argon. और अगर आप periodic table में देखो, so I'm just making some marks. Lithium could not become the good boy of his colony. So what he did, he became the good boy of the previous colony. Sodium could not become the good boy of his family, of his colony. Sodium became the good boy of the previous family. Potassium krypton नहीं बन पाया, पोटेशियम आर्गन बन गया. ये स्टोरी समझ में आया आपको? अभी ऐसे करके if we go at group 2, okay, now this is group 1 story. So if we go at group 2, where is our group 2? This is our group 2. So in group 2 we will expect to see beryllium has got 2 electrons in his outermost shell. उसको 6 चाहिए, 6 कोई नहीं देगा बेटा. तो बेरिलियम क्या करता है? बेरिलियम अपने दोनों इलेक्ट्रॉन को मरवा देगा. उसी तरह मैग्नीशियम क्या करेगा? मैग्नीशियम भी अपने दोनों इलेक्ट्रॉन को मरवा देगा. और कैल्शियम क्या करेगा? कैल्शियम भी अपने दोनों इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को मरवा देगा. एंड इफ यू कम टू ग्रुप 13, देन वी हैव गॉट बोरॉन. बोरॉन will also become boron 3 plus and lose its 3 electron. Aluminium will also become aluminium 3 plus and loses 3 electrons. So Kahani says that all the metals that we saw, all the metals, where did you see the metals? We saw the metals in group 1, we saw the metals in group 2, we saw the metals in group 13. All the metals actually became cations. Have you understood? Here they became M plus, here they became M2 plus, here they became M3 plus. ये स्टोरी समझ में आया आपको? Fine, perfect. अब हम देखते हैं नॉन मेटल्स की कहानी. ओके, लेट्स सी द स्टोरी ऑफ द नॉन मेटल्स. सो इफ यू लुक एट नॉन मेटल्स, किसी को भी कुछ पूछना है तो डायरेक्ट पूछ लेना बेटा. इफ यू लुक एट नॉन मेटल्स, देन वी स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम ग्रुप नंबर 15 group number 16, group number 17, and group number 18. Well, 18 we will not consider because 18 is already satisfied. So let's see the valence electron count. We got 5 electrons out here, we got 6 electrons out here, and we got 7 electrons out here, right? 5, 6, 7. Now, what is the max gain by the rule? The max gain can always be 3 electrons. Oh, ये तो एकदम साथ साथ खुश हो जाता है, इसकी हंसी आ गई. इसको अगर आप 3 इलेक्ट्रॉन दे दोगे तो इसका 8 हो गया. इसको आप 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन दे दोगे तो ये भी खुश हो गया क्योंकि इसका भी 8 हो गया. और इसको तो सिर्फ 1 इलेक्ट्रॉन देने से ही this one becomes happy and this has become 8. So let's see some examples. Okay, let's say we take about nitrogen. Nitrogen has gains 3 electrons, and thus nitrogen has 3 negative charge on its head. Similarly, the next group, oxygen, gains 2 electrons, and oxygen picks up 2 negative charge. That's how the charges come. And let's say chlorine gains 1 electron and picks up a negative charge on its head. Okay, and if you want to understand this more nicely, so we have got an oxygen atom. This is the oxygen's nucleus. So if you see the first shell, on the first shell, how many will we have? We will have 2 electrons for oxygen. Then on the next shell, how many do we have? We are having 6 electrons, right? We have 6 electrons out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what does oxygen do? Oxygen gains 2 more electrons. Okay, and as it gains 2 more electrons, what it forms is it becomes, sorry, 1 minute. So it gains 2 electrons और ये आपका बन जाता है, sorry, so it gains 2 more electrons और वो दोनों इलेक्ट्रॉन को हम किसी और कलर से दिखा देते हैं. 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन और आ गए ऑक्सीजन के पास. लेकिन ऐसा करने में एक गड़बड़ी ऑक्सीजन का हो गया है कि ऑक्सीजन अर्लियर कितना था बेटा? पहले देखो, ऑक्सीजन वाज अर्लियर हैविंग हाउ मेनी? Oxygen was earlier having, out here oxygen had 8 positive charges, right? And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negative charges. And now you look at here, I have got 8 positive charges. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 10 negative charges. So it gains 2 negative charge on its top, and this is known as the oxygen. This has become what is known as a oxide ion, or we call this a anion. This is the anion, or better known as oxide. This is the oxide ion, O2 minus. ये समझ में आया आपको? इसी तरह आप क्लोरीन का भी Cl माइनस बन जाएगा. आप जरा कहानी के let's bring all our both sides, you know, the bride and the bridegrooms. So we have got sodium with a plus, we have got lithium with a plus, we have got potassium with a plus, we have a magnesium, before magnesium we have a beryllium with a 2 plus, we have magnesium with a 2 plus, we have calcium with 2 plus, we have boron with 3 plus, we have aluminium with 3 plus, and right on the other side we have got the nitrogens with 3 minus, the phosphorus with 3 minus, then you have got the oxygen with 2 minus, the sulfur with 2 minus, the fluorine, you can have fluorine with 1 minus, chlorine with 1 minus. ऐसा. अब अगर आपको कोई बोले what type of atom will be formed, if a lithium goes and marries chlorine, it will be straight away LiCl, because 1 plus and 1 minus. Now let's take the formation of, let's see the formation of sodium chloride. Okay, let's say sodium is plus, chlorine is minus. So two oppositely charged entities, they have an attraction between them, and this attraction is usually known as the ionic bond. Why? Because this is one ion and this is also one ion. I hope you know what is an ion from grade 9. सार्थक, सीलिंग में कुछ नहीं लिखा है, इधर मैं नीचे लिख रहा हूँ, सीलिंग मत देखो.
सर टीवी देख रहा हूँ सर.
अच्छा, टीवी देख, जहाँ है वो मुझे पता है. तो दिस इज नोन एज व्हाट यू कॉल एन आयन. What is an ion? An ion is an intermediate entity. Ion क्या होता है बेटा? Ion एक तरह का intermediate entity है. Intermediate entity, unstable है. Intermediate entity after an atom has either gained electron or the atom has lost an electron. इसको हम बोलते हैं gain करेगा तो anion बनेगा, lose करेगा then it will form a cation. Okay, and then the bond is known as an ionic bond. What is an ionic bond? A bond that is formed due to transfer of electron. Transfer of electron. So it's very clear, transfer of electron means the participant should be, there has to be somebody who will be a donor and there has to be somebody who will be an acceptor. So our story started with how do metals and non-metals react. That's very simple. ये metal है और ये क्या है, ये non-metal है. So metal and non-metal will always form an ionic bond. Is it clear now? अभी देखते हैं थोड़ा सा और वैसे dot structures बना के देखते हैं. Let's say we take sodium. So how many, and when we take dot structures, when we take dot structure means every electron is represented by a dot or you can represent by a cross. Now I will take only the valence electron out here. तो sodium कैसा है बेटा? Sodium has got one electron with it. Valence electron 1 है. किसके साथ रिएक्ट कर रहा है? सोडियम रिएक्ट कर रहा है क्लोरीन के साथ. क्लोरीन के पास कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं? वो गेट 7 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स. सो वी हैव गॉट 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So how does the reaction happen? Sodium donates this electron out here. ठीक है ना? तो ये आगे जाके क्या बनेगा? ये जाके बनेगा सोडियम. ओके, Na ये प्लस बन गया और क्लोरीन कैसा बन जाएगा? क्लोरीन के पास आ गया है. Now you have got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and the dot came from there. Are we fine? ठीक है. And this will be known as this is known as a ionic compound. Ionic compound. In fact, in higher chemistry, not higher, you should know it from grade 9, ionic compounds को हम molecules नहीं बोलते हैं, इन्हें हम बोलते हैं formula units, because they are just like a formula. If in fact somebody asks you, can you draw the structure of sodium chloride? Very easy. You will have alternate. कैसा रहेगा? यहाँ पे एक आएगा, ये सब सोडियम है, और क्लोरीन्स कैसे आएंगे? यहाँ पे क्लोरीन आएगा, यहाँ पे क्लोरीन आएगा, फिर यहाँ पे क्लोरीन आएगा, फिर यहाँ पे क्लोरीन आएगा, यहाँ पे क्लोरीन आएगा, फिर सोडियम कहाँ पे आएगा? यहाँ पे आएगा. इट्स वेरी प्रेडिक्टिव. यहाँ पे आएगा, यहाँ पे आएगा, यहाँ आएगा, and then sodium again comes out here. So the bond is actually formed in this manner. ये है सोडियम क्लोराइड का structure. So these are all known as formula units. We don't call them as molecules. All see ionic bonds. Everywhere there you can have it. Right? So if this is sodium, then this is chlorine. That way, this is Na plus Cl minus. Have you understood? You can now try from your own side how to form magnesium chloride. Well, magnesium chloride में शादी कैसा होगा? Magnesium 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन देने को राजी है. Just look at magnesium chloride. Magnesium wants to give away 2 electrons, whereas chlorine wants only 1 electron. तो इनके शादी में कैसा होगा? इनके शादी में हमें magnesium के 2 प्लस हैं, हमें 2 क्लोरीन लाना पड़ेगा. Chlorine. Now the product that will form will be known as MgCl2. All this we have done in grade 9. Is it clear now? Okay, are you fine what is with ionic bonds? Ionic bonds are the bonds which are actually formed by the transfer of electrons. Ionic bonds can only be formed between cations and anions. What is a cation? A cation is a intermediate entity which has been formed after an atom has lost an electron, and an anion is something that is formed after an atom has gained an electron. Please remember, metals will always form cations. That's why, you know, these metals like the group 1 and the group 2, they do not follow the usual rules of metal. Usual rules of metal means they are neither lustrous, nor they are hard, nor they have got tensile strength. But ऐसे को भी हम metals क्यों बोलते हैं? Because they display electropositive valency. Non-metals will display electronegative valency. When you go to transition elements, अभी श्रेयस बोल रहा था ना transition में आपको variable valency देखने को मिलेगा. Like copper can form copper 2 plus, copper plus also. Iron can form iron 2 plus, iron 3 plus. ये आप आगे higher classes में पढ़ेंगे. तो ये हो गया आपका ionic compounds. And now you can draw structures also. Is there anything that you learnt in your school that you have not understood out here before we go to properties of ionic compounds, which are actually much more easy? बोलो बच्चा, कोई भी चीज यहाँ पे जो आप नहीं समझे हो. Covalent compounds have been taken away from your syllabus. अभी और है ही नहीं. पहले हुआ करता था, अभी तो है नहीं. Is there anything that you have not understood in what you call ionic compounds. So what are ionic compounds? Formed between metal and non-metal due to transfer of electrons. Ionic compound बनने के लिए there has to be cation and there has to be an anion. Cations will all be the metals, so metals always donate, non-metals always accept. Yes, the deal is made. I don't like it, you like it, so please take it. Have you understood? Whereas if you, since covalent is not taught to you, but if you look at a chlorine, two chlorines can also form bond within themselves. This is not in your syllabus. One chlorine wants an electron, the other also wants an electron, so they can share. इसको हम कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड बोलते हैं, बट नॉट इन योर सिलेबस. ओके, चले अभी थोड़ा सा प्रॉपर्टीज देख लेते हैं आयनिक कंपाउंड्स के. लेट्स सी द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ आयनिक कंपाउंड्स. All salts that you see acid bases reaction में all are ionic compounds. First thing is, all ionic compounds are usually crystalline. Do you understand what is crystalline? Crystals रहेंगे उनके sugar जैसे. That's because I just drew all these things, right? These are all showing. NaCl shows a crystal-like structure. They'll be always crystalline. And here the bond is very strong, children. Why it is strong? Electrostatic force of attraction. The bond is super strong, very strong. Very strong because the force of attraction is electrostatic force of attraction. Do you really feel electrostatic force of attraction is strong force? It's a very strong force. आपको एग्जाम्पल चाहिए तो ऐसे देख सकते हो. देखो तो थोड़ा मस्ती लो ना. ये अर्थ है, अर्थ के ऊपर एक शैतान बच्चा है. वो बच्चा अपना हेयर कोम करके स्केल से, and what this child is doing, the child is holding a ruler, and on that ruler all the pieces of paper are getting stuck. You have done this mischief in your school days, yes or no? Now these papers are being pulled by the earth also by gravity. Still the papers are not falling. That means what? That means the electrostatic force here is much stronger. In fact, very strong. Gravity is a very weak force. Therefore, gravity is also pulling those papers, but the papers are not falling off from the scale. So this clearly tells you electrostatic force is a strong force. So ionic compounds में हमें क्या बनेंगे? Ionic compounds में we are going to get bonds which are very strong, and these structures are usually crystalline. Now since the bond is very strong, the third point comes from here itself, that their boiling point as well as their melting point will be very high. इनके बॉइलिंग पॉइंट्स काफी हाई होंगे, बिकॉज बॉइलिंग और मेल्टिंग में आप करते क्या हो? यू ब्रेक द बॉन्ड्स बिटवीन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पार्टिकल्स. यू कैन ब्रेक देम. देयर फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन इज very स्ट्रॉन्ग, एंड सिंस दे आर आयोनिक, सो दे विल डिसॉल्व इन वाटर. घर का नमक देख लो, पानी में डिसॉल्व हो जाता है, बट दे विल बी इनसोल्यूबल इन ऑर्गेनिक सॉल्वेंट्स. In organic solvents. What do you mean by organic solvents? So many things you have studied. Acetone ले लो, ether ले लो, then you take carboxylic, so some sort of what you call glycerin ले लो, oil ले लो. इन सब में ये soluble नहीं होगा. Put salt in oil. Just go and put salt in oil at home and see. You'll see that it is never mixing up. Okay. Now since they dissolve in water, what will happen? They will form ions. They'll form ions. What type of ions they will form? They will form cations and they will form anions. That's why ऐसे पानी में now if you pass electricity, it will conduct. That's why they say that your tap water will conduct electricity, because your tap water has got salts in the form of magnesium sulfate, calcium sulfate, magnesium carbonate. All these are ionic salts. तो जैसे ही आप टैप वाटर लेते हो, टैप वाटर में क्या है? आयंस है, और आप इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पास करते ही शॉक खा जाओगे. बट डज वाटर कंडक्ट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी? नो, प्योर वाटर विल नेवर कंडक्ट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. टेक डिस्टिल्ड वाटर and you pass electricity, it will never conduct electricity. But electricity will always be conducted by water which has got traces of salt in it. In fact, take pure water and you put your probes and you see with the multimeter, slowly start adding salt, you will see that the conductance meter has started to move. Means it is conducting what you call electricity. ठीक है. And और क्या रह गया इसमें? electric current conduct करता है, right? And the other thing is ionic compounds will be conducting electricity. So from here we say ionic compounds. Ionic compounds, ये important line है, हाँ, इसको थोड़ा note कीजिए. Ionic compounds conduct electricity when two cases. This is important. When number one, either they are dissolved in water, or they are in molten state. Which brings us to conclusion that अगर आप अपने किचन के नमक के डब्बे को ले ले, and right now that salt is in solid state, if you pass electricity through solid salt, it will not conduct. But if there is some trace of humidity and moisture in the salt, which is expected in your kitchen container of salt, वो electricity conduct कर देगा. Or else you should, the salt should be in the molten state. If it is in molten state, then also it will conduct electricity. Is this clear? This then brings us to the last stage of the chapter. छोटा chapter है, इतना क्या tension है? Which is extraction of metals, where people have more tension. अच्छा देखो एक बार school notes देख लो. Is there anything, children, because you all have it in your exams also, is there anything till now in terms of ionic compounds कुछ ऐसा पढ़ लियो स्कूल में जो मैंने अभी कवर नहीं किया या छूट गया है, or you have not understood? देख लो तो एक बार. It will give me a 5 minutes break to drink some water. You check. Neha, एक बार check कर बेटा. Is there anything that till now that I have spoken? In fact, that stability part I have spoken much more than what you need. But कुछ भी चीज है. One thing that I have skipped a bit is uses of metals and non-metals. That's like a grade 8 question. Go to the textbook and read it. What metals do. Pihu, आप भी देख लो. Is this done in your school, Pihu?
Yes, sir.
I just have a check if there anything is, because after this we move to extraction. More than that, you check whether you have not understood anything in your school part so that we can address that. नान्या हो गया ये आपके स्कूल में?
No, sir.
So in your exam you don't have metal non-metal?
No.
बच
We
गया
just
यार.
we just have chemical reactions and equations and acid bases and so.
बहुत ही अच्छा है आपका.
My chemistry teacher taught until chemical properties, and then it's like you all read on your own. This is an easy chapter.
हाँ तो ठीक है, अब बाकी तो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ आपको, टेंशन क्या है?
So that is good.
Anyone else, anything that आद्या ये हो गया स्कूल में? आद्या कैमरा बंद कर चुकी है, 100% डेस्क पे नहीं है, देखो. नहीं तो अब तक वो जवाब देती. आद्या नहीं है डेस्क पे.
सार्थक भी नहीं desk पे.
सार्थक पृथ्वी में है, वही ज्यादा
मैं
है.
हूँ. I'm there.
है.
I'm there.
अबे फिर कैमरा क्यों ऑफ है?
I'm on phone. लैपटॉप काम नहीं कर रहा.
अच्छा
कुछ दिन
चलिए अब हम चलते हैं एक्सट्रैक्शन में. एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ मेटल्स, एंड दैट पार्ट इज नोन एज मेटलर्जी. बेसिकली एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ मेटल्स जितना कवर कर पाएंगे करेंगे. इसको ना फ्लो चार्ट हिसाब में पढ़िए तो आपको इजी रहेगा. यू कैन स्टडी एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ मेटल्स. तो द स्टोरी इज ऑल अबाउट हाउ डू यू गेट मेटल. आपको मेटल मिलेगा कहाँ से? हाउ टू गेट दिस मेटल, हाउ टू गेट इट, हाउ टू गेट मेटल, है ना. तो ये मेटल का पूरा सोर्स सबसे पहले क्या होता है? सबसे पहले ये तो हो गया हमारा अर्थ. सो ये जो अर्थ है ना, द अर्थ्स क्रस्ट is going to give you all these metals. So do you know what is the most abundant metal on the earth's crust is aluminum. ठीक है, तो हमें earth crust, the most abundant element in the universe is hydrogen. तो and the most abundant non-metal that we have on earth is nitrogen. तो हमें ये क्या चाहिए? हमें metal चाहिए. और ये जो metals हमें निकालने वाले हैं, obviously we have to play on their properties. So we get we classify them under 3 heads out here. One will be like highly reactive, the highly reactive metals, और सबके लिए अलग अलग type of treatment we will give. The highly reactive, the less reactive ones, Okay, and then we have got a series which is the least reactive. And just follow this flow chart, everything will come correct. Understood? Highly reactive, least reactive, moderately reactive and least reactive. Got it? Now ये अर्थ के क्रस्ट में हमें क्या मिलता है? हमें मिलता है मिनरल्स. Right, minerals क्या है? The minerals are something like natural materials. These are natural material which contain जो metal आपको चाहिए, which will be containing metal or we'll say metal compounds. आपका desired metal रहेगा but not in the metal shape, but it will be in the form of metal compounds, and that is called minerals. Now a mineral can contain X metal compound, Y metal compound, Z metal compound. But if you want to find that, okay, see, I want to extract only X out from here, then you choose a mineral. इस mineral से एक special size में आप ले आओगे and you classify some minerals as ores. Okay, which means ores क्या है? Ores are the minerals. Ores are minerals from which your desired metal can be extracted. Okay, your desired metal can be extracted. Two things we study here. ये दोनों वर्ड नहीं लिखोगे तो मार्क्स नहीं मिलेगा आपको. Conveniently and number 2, profitably. Okay, the story is something like, I need sugar. Should I get it from sugar cane or should I go to the berry trees and pluck berries? Berries are also going to give me sweet compound, but berries से हम चीनी नहीं बनाएंगे. चीनी बनाने के लिए हम sugar cane से बनाएंगे. So what is ore? Ore बच्चा वो mineral है जिससे आप profitably लाभ में और conveniently, ज़्यादा मगजमारी भी नहीं होना चाहिए. It should be convenient and it should be profitable. You can extract your metal. So is this part of the story clear, bacha? I need a metal. The metal is found in the earth's crust. In what form? In the form of rocks, which are known as minerals. This mineral may not contain only the metal that I want. It may contain the metal that I want and some more other metal compounds. Sometimes there are some minerals which have predominantly the metal that I want. Say for example iron. Iron का एक और होता है hematite. Hematite has got majority iron. तो अभी अपन hematite से silver निकालने को जाएंगे तो that is a foolishness. So I will call it as the ore for iron. Have you understood? अच्छा, some more things. If you take a ore, उस ore में it's something like, ये story भी बड़ा interesting है. So you have a ore. Whenever it's an ore, that means there is a specific metal that is associated with it. So, and anything else is known as impurity. That can be dust or can be traces of gold also. बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है. सोचो हेमेटाइट में अगर आपको गोल्ड मिल रहा है ना थोड़ा सा, दैट इज एन इम्प्योरिटी बिकॉज यू आर इन हंट ऑफ व्हाट, यू आर इन हंट ऑफ आयरन. हालांकि वो इम्प्योरिटी को तुम बाजार में बेच के पैसे में निकालोगे, वो बात अलग है. इज दिस थिंग क्लियर? जब भी आप ओर बोलोगे, देन द ओर टिपिकली एन ओर हैज गॉट a metal stamp to it. Like for example aluminium का ओर होता है bauxite, iron का ओर होता है hematite, zinc का ओर होता है calamine, pitch blende, all these, right? So there are different type of ores. Is this much story clear to you or not? There are different type of ores that we'll see sulfide ores, we'll see carbonate ores, and then we'll see how all things are extracted. इतना clear हुआ, right? After this comes the story of extraction. तो एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ मेटल में सबसे पहले दिस पार्ट इज नोन एज माय इंट्रो. दिस इज माय इंट्रोडक्शन. नाउ कम्स हाउ डू यू एक्सट्रैक्ट. एक्सट्रैक्ट करने से पहले सब फर्स्ट प्रोसेस इज नोन एज ओर एनरिचमेंट. वी यूज्ड टू स्टडी दिस इन ज्योग्राफी आल्सो अर्लियर. व्हाट इज ओर एनरिचमेंट? बेसिकली यू विल क्लीन द ओर, you will remove all foreign and dust particles. ठीक है, और इन चीजों को हम क्या बोलते हैं? गंगू नहीं, गैंग. ऑल फॉरेन एंड डस्ट पार्टिकल्स, दीज आर जनरली रिमूव्ड बाय, ये सब आपके स्टेप्स तो है नहीं पर लिख लो. हाइड्रोलिक वॉशिंग, मतलब पानी से जोर से धोगे. धोने से क्या होता है बेटा? लाइक वी वॉश दाल एंड ऑल, हेवियर और पार्टिकल्स विल रिमेन एंड द डस्ट विल जस्ट गो अवे. Sometimes all of you must have made rice at your home, right? If you bring the rice from village market, which are good quality rice, उसको आप डायरेक्टली खाना नहीं बना सकते, आप चावल को भिगो के रखते हैं, तब क्या होता है, the impure water or the dirty water goes out, so you're washing the dust out of rice. That's called hydraulic washing. Then we use another process called gravity separation. What is gravity separation? ये सब है नहीं कोर्स में, पर जान के रखो क्या है. Gravity separation will have two rollers. ऐसे दो rollers होंगे, the rollers will keep moving and there will be a belt, and on this belt all the ore particles will be actually moving, ठीक है ना, and the belt will shake and move, ऐसे shake कर करके move करेगा. तो क्या होगा, lighter वाला जो चीज है वो गिर जाएगा, heavier वाला रह जाएगा. इनफैक्ट एक क्लीनिंग के साथ साथ हम एक और स्टेप करते हैं, क्रशिंग भी करते हैं यहाँ पे, क्रशिंग, और क्रश करेंगे फाइन पार्टिकल्स में. We'll crush them into fine particles, and then it's something like in grade 6 you must have studied in science. Do you remember something called winnowing? Do you know winnowing? You see village ladies ऐसे ऐसे करके, भोजो एंड पहेली वाला चैप्टर होता था ना, विनोइंग कर रहा है ऐसे, चलो चलो खेत में चलो, तो ग्रेविटी सेपरेशन हो गया. ये सब करने के बाद एक्चुअली व्हाट यू आर हैविंग, यू आर डूइंग ओर एनरिचमेंट, मतलब आपका जो आउटपुट होगा, एंड दिस आउटपुट विल बी हैविंग पार्टिकल्स, एंड यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट इस पार्टिकल्स में मेजॉरिटी क्या है, ओर्स ही है, ओर्स ही है. अब आपके पास कोई डस्ट, किसी तरह का फॉरेन मटेरियल, गैंग पार्टिकल्स, ऑल दिस हैज बीन टेकन ऑफ. इज दिस क्लियर? नाउ वी हैव टू हैव हॉर्सेस फॉर कोर्सेस वाला स्टेप. और एनरिचमेंट हो जाने के बाद वी आर गोइंग टू ट्रीट देम अंडर 3 डिफरेंट कॉलम. पहला है हाईली रिएक्टिव. ज्यादा हार्ड नहीं है अगर आप ऐसे फ्लो चार्ट में पढ़ो. हाईली रिएक्टिव मेटल्स. हाईली रिएक्टिव में कौन कौन आता है, ससुरा, सोडियम आएगा आपका, सोडियम, पोटेशियम, कैल्शियम, मैग्नीशियम. यू गो विद द रिएक्टिविटी सीरीज, प्लीज स्टॉप कॉलिंग मी अ ज़ीब्रा. एल्यूमिनियम, दीज आर ऑल योर हाईली रिएक्टिव सीरीज. ज्यादा से ज्यादा हम सोडियम के बारे में ही पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है. दीज आर हाईली रिएक्टिव सीरीज. हाईली रिएक्टिव सीरीज का एक ही ट्रीटमेंट है, इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस. वेरी इजी. Any highly reactive series will always be cleaned by electrolysis. आगे वाला अभी नहीं पढ़ेंगे, अब पहले highly reactives को देखते हैं. They will be all in the highly reactive series, and these are what? These are the upper elements of reactivity series. Upper elements of reactivity series, and these will undergo electrolysis. Are we clear? इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस का मतलब क्या, इसमें हम करेंगे क्या, हियर वी विल डू इलेक्ट्रोलिटिक. अच्छा, जस्ट इमेजिन समथिंग, वी हैड आवर मेटल वाज नॉट अवेलेबल इन प्योर फॉर्म, राइट? दैट मींस आवर मेटल वाज इन अ कंबाइंड स्टेट. ये जरा कॉमन सेंस लगाओ. वी हैड अ मेटल and this metal will have some excess compound along with it. What do you want to get? You want to get back only the metal. तो इसमें हम क्या करते हैं, रिडक्शन करते हैं. रिडक्शन करने से ये वाला पार्ट कट जाएगा. This word you should remember. So in electrolysis, the thing that we will do electrolytic reduction. Electrolytic reduction of molten chlorides. Molten chlorides. Again the question is molten क्यों? Because you are using electricity and ये हमेशा इलेक्ट्रिक मोल्टन क्लोराइड्स होने से ही, क्लोराइड मींस ये आयोनिक हो जाएगा और मोल्टन होगा तो ही इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को कंडक्ट करेगा, ठीक है. सो हाईली रिएक्टिव मेटल्स आर एक्सट्रैक्टेड बाय इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक रिडक्शन ऑफ मोल्टन क्लोराइड्स, और समटाइम्स वी विल आल्सो यूज मोल्टन ऑक्साइड्स. देखो क्लियर हो गया, मोल्टन ऑक्साइड्स, right? Okay, whenever you do electrolysis, you will do electrolysis in something called a electrolytic tank. Okay, थोड़ा सा electrolysis process को देखते हैं. हमारे पास electrolysis में we have got a electrolytic tank, और आपको थोड़ा ये दो चीज जानना पड़ता है. There will be 2 electrodes, ऐसे 2 electrode रहेंगे, and they will have supply what you call high current which are being supplied to them. ऐसा इसमें आया, इसमें मान लो इसमें हमने क्या दिया है, नेगेटिव वाला पोटेंशियल दिया है, इसमें हमने पॉजिटिव वाला पोटेंशियल दिया है, ठीक है। अब इनका नाम जानना हमारे लिए बहुत जरूरी है। नेगेटिव, तो ये इनको क्या बोलते हैं बेटा, इनको हम बोलते हैं इलेक्ट्रोड्स। And what is this thing called? This is called the electrolytic tank. And whatever you will take inside is known as the electrolyte. This is the electrolytic tank, usually made up of glass. अब देखो यहाँ पे the negative one, okay, आपको negative one is known as cathode. Cathode होता है negative electrode. अब इसका भी टेक्निक सिखा देंगे, डोंट वरी। और एनोड जो होता है वो होता है पॉजिटिव इलेक्ट्रोड। प्लीज डोंट कंफ्यूज विथ आयंस। आयंस में कैटायन होता है पॉजिटिव, एनायन होता है नेगेटिव। डोंट कंफ्यूज विथ इट, हाउ टू रिमेंबर इट। कैथोड मीन्स ऑलवेज रिमेंबर CN, कार्टून नेटवर्क, ठीक है, कार्टून नेटवर्क। और एनोड मतलब आंध्र प्रदेश, बस समझ में आया। कार्टून नेटवर्क, कैथोड इज नेगेटिव, आंध्र प्रदेश। अगर इतना भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तुमको तो आप लिख लो ये वाला वर्ड, डोंट पैनिक। डोंट पैनिक का मतलब है P से पॉजिटिव इज एनोड, नेगेटिव is cathode. Don't panic. ठीक है, ये गड़बड़ी नहीं कर सकते हो आप। Don't panic. Clear? Now what will you do? What will you do? You are going to do, let's see the process. अब देखो नेहा, आप बोलते थे ना कंफ्यूजन होता है, देखो कितना इजी है। What are you going to do? You are going to do electrolysis of the molten oxide or the molten chloride. तो चलो molten chloride ले लेते हैं। ये हमारा molten chloride है। मोल्टन क्लोराइड कहाँ घुसाएंगे, यहाँ पे मोल्टन क्लोराइड घुसा दिया, ठीक है। दिस इज योर मोल्टन क्लोराइड बेसिकली, जिसको ये आपका मोल्टन क्लोराइड है। अब आप सोचो आपको मेटल चाहिए इसमें से, और ये मोल्टन क्लोराइड क्या है, सोच लीजिए ये आपका NaCl है। आपको NaCl चाहिए, तो आपका NaCl में यू वांट प्योर सोडियम। नाउ NaCl क्या होगा, इलेक्ट्रोलिटिक रिडक्शन, मतलब द NaCl इज गोइंग टू स्प्लिट अप, इट विल स्प्लिट अप इनटू व्हाट बेटा, Na plus and Cl minus। What is Na plus? It's a positively charged entity. इसका अट्रैक्शन किसके पास होगा, इसका अट्रैक्शन हमेशा नेगेटिव के पास होगा। That's why the metal will always be formed at the cathode. Reduction always happens at the cathode. Oxidation happens at the anode. This you will learn in electrolysis, electrochemistry when you go to grade 11. But यहाँ पे बेसिक आपको समझ में आ रहा है that the sodium ion, हमें तो सोडियम चाहिए, पर सोडियम अपने आप थोड़ी आएगा। सोडियम will come as sodium ion. And you also use the word, देख नेहा, you use the word electrolytic reduction. Reduction का मतलब क्या होता है, reduction means RIG, reduction is gain of electrons, यानी कि अपना सोडियम इलेक्ट्रॉन गेन करेगा तो ही वो सोडियम बनेगा। और वो इलेक्ट्रॉन कहां से मिलता है, it is getting the electron from the anode. Who gave, sorry, from the cathode. Who gave the electron? This chlorine gave the electron. And where will chlorine bubble out? Chlorine will bubble out from the cathode. Is this understood? Basic idea समझ में आ रहा है आपको? The chlorine will bubble out from the cathode, sorry, anode, and is the positive one, and the sodium will bubble out. So we always say that during electrolysis or the electrolytic reduction of molten salts, metals are always produced at cathode. तो ये लाइन आप लिख लीजिए, during electrolytic reduction, metals are always produced at cathode. ठीक है, कैथोड में प्रोड्यूस है। कैथोड बोले तो क्या, कार्टून नेटवर्क, नेगेटिव। और इसको याद रखने के लिए याद रखिए, आपका जो मेटल है वो हमेशा मेटल प्लस ही होता है, तो वो मेटल प्लस नेगेटिव की तरफ खींच के जाएगा। आर वी फाइन? तो देख लेते हैं एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ सोडियम क्लोराइड। तो जैसे ही हम सोडियम क्लोराइड को, सॉरी, whenever we use electricity in sodium chloride, NaCl, so our NaCl will be in, remember, in molten state. Molten, it will give me sodium and chlorine will bubble out as gas. 1 minute, huh children? chlorine. Let me. I hope I have not lost data now. Hang on, there has been a loss of connectivity. कुछ ना कुछ कनेक्टिविटी तो गया होगा 100%.
Looks like everything is there.
No, I know it much better. ये पूरा धोखेबाज प्रेमिका जैसा है, देखना अभी कुछ तो गया होगा, 100% जाएगा. ये देखा, डोंट पैनिक तक. Anyways, anyway, it's getting recorded, so you have it there, right? So metals are always formed at the, we will not continue further here. Metal is always formed at the cathode, and the metal should be molten. So our reaction is NaCl on electrolysis. Remember, this should be in molten state, and you are doing electrolysis. This is a decomposition reaction. It will form sodium, and chlorine gas will bubble out as gas to 2 of sodium to NaCl. ये है आपका reaction. So similarly we can also expect potassium. तो reaction at cathode को देख सकते हैं. इसमें अगर और आपको deeper जाना है तो you can see what is happening at cathode and what is happening at anode. You can see anode means anode is the positive terminal, cathode is the negative terminal. So at cathode we will always have NaCl splits up. So we have got 2Na plus reacts with 2 electrons, becomes 2Na. And at cathode what happens? We have Cl, 2Cl minus will become Cl2 and give you 2 electrons. These 2 electrons are the same electrons which इसने मालपुए की तरह खाया. Similarly, if you want to see it with an oxide, this was a chloride. If you want to see it with an oxide, then aluminium is a very nice example. Al2O3. It is also a highly reactive series, and इसका oxide होता है. So Al2O3 will give me what? Al2O3 will give me 4Al. Okay, why 4Al? आपको ऐसे समझ में आ जाएगा. So you should take it 2, and it will give me O2. So O2 means 3O2 मुझे देगा ये. 4Al plus 3O2, and O2 is gas. This is my solid, and this is also solid. Al2O3 करके देख लो. Al2O3 में हमेशा रहता है +6 -6. So ultimately the reaction would be all about electrons. So each aluminium, so if you see the reaction for aluminium, Al3 plus gains 3 electrons and forms Al, and O2 minus loses its 2 electrons and becomes O. This is this plus 2 electrons, and then you need to balance the 2 electrons. अगर आप balance करेंगे तो आपका अपने आप आ जाएगा. अगर आप Al2 से देख रहे हैं, so Al2, so 2 of Al to balance it, so take 2Al, 4Al, so 4Al3 plus, and in that case if we balance it, then each is losing 3 electrons. Each is losing 3 electrons. Hang on, bacha. Each is losing 3 electrons. Therefore, 4 of them will lose how many? 12 electrons they will lose, and it becomes O2 minus. And how many? 3 O2 we had. Okay, so 3 and 2, 6. Sorry. 1 minute. So we had 6 of the oxygens, 6 oxygens, see, 2 into 3, 6 oxygens. So they will be losing 12 electrons. So it balances these 12 electrons out. और क्या है? हो गया आपका. 2 ये आपको पढ़ना था. So in the next class we will take extraction of, question comes more from the next one, extraction of moderately reactive. So ये समझ में आया. Highly reactive is very easy. In the video you will get the full part. Anyways, I'll share this notes, but जो थोड़ा सा loss हो गया that will get. So you highly reactive are always separated using what is called electrolysis. इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस हम करते हैं मोल्टन ऑक्साइड्स या फिर मोल्टन क्लोराइड्स का. मोल्टन क्लोराइड में NaCl आ गया, मोल्टन ऑक्साइड में Al2O3 आ गया है. एंड रिमेंबर द मेटल इज ऑलवेज फॉर्म्ड एट द cathode, and this is reverted. So this reaction is the reaction which is happening at cathode. And at cathode always reduction takes place. कैसे reduction? Gain of electrons, यानी कि rig. And this this reaction is happening at anode. बस. Comfortable? नेहा मैडम? आपको डाउट था उस वक्त, तो ये तो इजी है, बस ऐसे पढ़िए फ्लो चार्ट की तरह. Extraction or enrichment, highly reactive. In the next class we will be wrapping up the chapter. We'll have moderately reactive. So children, our next class is on Sunday. So Sunday, let us first wrap this part up. So आपका science कब है? When does Glendale have science?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
No, we are done today.
you're done today. How was everything?
It was really easy. अच्छा गया paper.
इसका मतलब चेकिंग में खींचेगा फिर.
Sunday we have Monday पे math.
मंडे मैथ्स है तो ठीक है. संडे मैथ्स का कोई भी डाउट्स है लेके आइए. एंड ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर टुमारो. ज़्यादा अब थोड़ा सा देखिए.
साइंस 28 को है.
हाँ मेरा भी 20 को है सर साइंस.
So what we will do Sunday, we will finish up the remaining part, थोड़ा part जो है, or we will take it up in our next week, not an issue. And let's keep all our doubts for Sunday. Maths में अगर आपको कोई doubt है तो we can handle them. And this one as a I'll just post this as a what you call. But this is बीच में थोड़ा सा loss of data है.
Circles
So
on Sunday. His circles is in the portions.
yeah, circles we will continue. We just started circles. So metals class note. Okay, save PDF and give me a minute. Let me